I'd like to call the regular meeting of council of Wednesday, April 14th, 2021 to order. Mayor and council would like to acknowledge that we're within the traditional territory of the Secwepemc Nation. Before I ask for adoption of the minutes, or of the agenda, Mr. Daly, are there any additions to or deletions from?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Councilor Bird, second.
I'll second it.
Councilor McAravey, all in favor? Carried. The adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting of March 24th, 2021. Could I have a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved.
Councilor Rivet, second.
I'll second it.
Councilor McAravey. Any discussion, errors, omissions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. We have no delegations. CAO Daily, were there any questions on the website?
No.
No? Okay, no question period. Correspondence for action. David Black, email regarding support for 2026 Commonwealth Games. So there's a movement to try and have the 2026 Commonwealth Games held in BC. And the organizers are looking for a letter of support from as many communities as they can get. So what is your wish? Are we in support?
I think
Bird?
they're going to need some of these things. And were the Commonwealth Games were held in Kamloops before, weren't they? Were they the Commonwealth Games? Or is that Prince George?
I'm not sure.
But anyways, yeah, I know it's a ways away, so hopefully we are through all of this COVID-y kind of
But
stuff.
first they have to
Yeah, they have to.
approach the province and get them on board.
Yeah, and they have to do it soon. Yeah.
Which is why they're asking for
For
support.
support. I have no problem in supporting it.
Care to make a motion?
I
That we
move
send
that
a
we
letter of
write
support?
a letter in support of the province of BC entering into a bid to get the 2026 Commonwealth Games.
Second? I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. District of North Vancouver, letter of support for Help Cities Lead campaign. We had one of these on our agenda last time as well. The last one we received for information. So what is your wish on this one?
Mayor Swan, my way of thinking is this is something to bring up at UBC now.
Exactly.
So I'm feeling it's the same thing, it's just a direction to staff to, do we notify people at that point, or do we just put it in the file?
You can just
Receive
receive for information.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. We have a letter from Sally Watson, Director TNRD, requesting a letter of support for the Caribou Country Carriage Club 70 Mile House to map and sign existing multi-use trails. Anyone care to speak to that one? Councillor Park?
I don't know any more information, of course, than what's presented on the letter here.
I don't either.
But I reading through it, I can't see any downsides to it at all, except for us giving a letter of support.
Mayor Swan?
Yes.
The only thing I don't know, do they want us each to write a letter? Or
No,
one as a,
they addressed it to the mayor.
okay.
The email came to me, and I was asked for a letter of support, and I said, this has to come to our council.
Oh, okay, because, yeah, down below they have the sample of the letter,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
I just didn't know if it'd be better or whatever.
Would someone care to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we direct staff to write a letter of support for the Caribou Country Carriage Club 70 Mile House
Mapping project?
mapping project.
Sounds good. Seconder,
I'll second it.
any more discussion? All in favor? Carried. We have correspondence for information, City of Prince George, BC Hydro and Power Authority 2020 street lighting rate application. There's a lot of,
If I may,
Yes.
Mayor, I was just curious, our CFO is not here, but maybe Marie might have an answer to what is, proposably, what is our increase going to be for us? Do you have any idea what their?
I did know that at one time.
Is it significant?
Not a huge increase. There is a slight increase, and what some communities are objecting to is the increase is to cover the lights that are being taken out because they haven't basically used up their life yet. So it's to retire them and then replace them with the LEDs. But yeah, we do have a slight increase. It wasn't a lot. I thought I had printed that off, but because I printed off all the stuff from the meeting that I attended.
If I may ask another question, the second
Yes.
part to that was, so I'm assuming, would that be offset by the savings, or did they
Yes.
pass on the savings of the LED savings there?
Yes, the savings will
Or less.
eventually
Yeah.
pay for that,
Right,
but
okay.
of course, we have to pay it up front.
And just so I'm clear about this, Marie, when we have our, we bill for BC Hydro, we get billed just on a rate, or do we get billed per actual usage?
I believe it's a rate.
A rate, okay, so, and I'm assuming our rate will go down, like, when they do have these in here, or what I mean, the rate we're paying now is for these, the sodium,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
the type, they use obviously the more wattage per
Yeah.
hour, and these will use less, the new ones, so I'm assuming our rate would be less, which of course they're increasing, so I was just curious, is the rate gonna be less and then increased on that, or is it gonna be more than we're presently paying?
It's going to be a little more than we're presently
Okay.
paying, but then it will gradually go
Okay.
down.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's the part I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on that one? Okay. Environment and Climate Change Canada consultation on amending Schedule 1 of the Species at Risk Act. And I went through these, and none of these mosses or plants are actually in our area. And they don't have any little critters on this list, just mosses and plants.
Just
Oh,
the
sorry, They do
wasp.
have one little wasp, yes.
Yeah.
But he's in the valley bottoms of the southern Okanagan. So that's for information. Thompson Rivers University 100-mile regional center update. So they're moving.
Mhm.
They had to find a new location. So they're going to be on Exeter Road, their new classroom and office space. One question I did have that I want to ask them is that we have regular conversations with the administration of Peter Steen Ogden Secondary School and the coordinator of career programs. But do they have regular conversations with David Stoddard School?
I've never been aware of that.
Again, the question there, who are you asking has good conversations with the?
Thompson Rivers University, do they have conversations with David Stoddard School? Because they do with the high school in Hunter
Oh, I'm assuming they do because,
Yeah.
Karen Miller is right as part of the trades program, she's the
Right,
yeah.
coordinator for that, so she would have firsthand, I'm sure.
Okay,
And usually it's from TRU Kamloops.
Kamloops, yeah.
Okay, not the 100-mile packets. Okay, thank you. Those can be received for information. Reading file. We have 16 items on the reading file, and the majority of them are interior health, COVID-related items. If anyone is interested in reading those, they can ask at the front counter. Receive those for information. Administrative reports, CAO, Clinton Minor Sports Association. CAO Daly, would you like to take us through this?
Right. So if council will recall at the last meeting, there was a letter on the agenda from Melissa Painter asking for use of the fields at Elliott Park and RegCon to do some youth sport activities in the improving weather that we're experiencing. And at that time, council tabled the request until more information was presented about what the restrictions were as far as public health orders and sort of a little more information as to what activities are being planned. So staff followed up with Ms. Painter, and she described it, they'd be doing some sort of t-ball or softball and soccer activities, things like that. We've included some information from the Public Health Authority regarding what can and can't be done during these times of use. So youth sports are permitted up to a maximum of 50 children with spacing out. So you can do like drills and things like that, but no games really and no visiting teams. So they'd be able to have limited activity, but limited is probably better than none. So so we brought it back to council to ask again if that use would be permitted by council for this activity.
And are parents allowed to?
But it
be
says that
at these?
caregivers can, so you can't have spectators, but individuals responsible for the child are allowed to be present, right?
Okay.
And is there a fee associated to the usage of the park?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
We'd have to look at the fee schedule to make sure about that. Regardless, there is a recommendation there. Would someone care to move it?
I will. I recommend that council allow Clinton Minor Sports Association to use Elliott Park and RegCon Park playfields for youth sports activities, provided that all COVID-19 and related public health orders are followed.
Seconder?
I'll second that.
McElravy? Any discussion on that? Mr. Park?
Just food for thought on the actual recommendation. Whether it's needed or not, just for first come, first served use. Will that just, staff will figure that out in case there's rented or, for different events or something that comes up? How will that work out, or is that just that's something staff work out, or does that need to be in the recommendation?
So
As
if
far as
someone
if-
came along who wanted to rent the facility,
Right.
would that
And it falls on
supersede
the-
this?
Yeah, right.
Right, yeah. We could put that in the recommendation. There is nothing in the recommendation that says free use, but if we choose to go that route, then yes, we would have to have something in there that if someone comes along to rent that facility and is following the COVID-19 orders, then they would be bumped. Is that what you're?
Well, so it's pretty wide open right now as far as schedule, right? So basically there is no schedule. And, well, I'm just asking whether it's needed or not to actually have just that in that recommendation, so.
Councilor Burke?
So just to speak on when we get the hall, when we had the hall for use, and it was an in-kind thing.
The grant and aid?
Yeah, grant and aid. And then, yes, and it was understood that if that facility was rented on the night that we needed, then of course we would be
I think that's part of the
in
the form to sign for the usage, that can be in there. So it needs to be in the motion.
So if they fill out that grant and aid for.
Are you okay with that, Councillor Park?
If it's not an issue, absolutely, I'm just bringing it up, we forgot. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, good point. Any more discussion on that one? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Chief Financial Officer COVID Restart Grant. So we did receive funds for the COVID restart, and CAO Daily, how about I let you take this?
Well, I guess the basis of it is that the current server that we have operating the village office is approaching around 4 years of age, and as technology does, it kind of peters out rather quickly. So we'll be looking at replacing it within the next year or two anyway. Replacing it now and utilizing the COVID funds that the municipality was granted from the government. We can access those funds because replacing the server, upgrading the server would allow for more staff to be able to work from home if that was necessary during another lockdown or the pandemic turns south unexpectedly, then we'll be able to better facilitate staff working remotely than we can presently. So we'll be able to utilize COVID money to replace it this time rather than having to take it from our general funds.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Park?
Absolutely, I think so too. My question would be is on the server that's currently in use, is there any value to that? I see that's almost $10,000 to get a new one, so is there any value to the one that is being replaced? And if so, would it be liquidated, or is there any money, get money back from service? And the reason I ask is because I always see in auctions, local governments, provincial governments getting rid of servers, and they're actually up for auction. So there actually is a value that they're doing that. So is there a value in ours?
No, we'll certainly explore that and,
Right.
and wiping it entirely clean and,
Yeah, right.
Right.
and liquidating it in some fashion rather than just recycling it or giving it back to whoever's going to sell us the new server.
Gotcha, right.
Good point. Okay. Would someone care to make a motion?
That's somebody else's turn.
Councillor Park?
I'll make a recommendation that council approve the use of funds from the COVID restart grant to update the current server.
Seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Burridge? Any more discussion? Councillor Park?
There's no amount on that, so,
Under the financial impacts at the bottom.
yeah, but it's not in the recommendations. Is it up in the recommendation or?
You could add that at the
You could
tail
add
end
it
to
to
a
the
maximum of $9,666.
Well, that's an estimated cost. So we could say up to $10,000, and that would cover it. Does that work for you, Councillor Park?
Well, I think it works for staff. In the sense that they want to make sure they be able to buy it.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'd ask the CAO, I guess, what would be if we were to put a ceiling on it, what would be a safe ceiling that?
I think $10,000 would be more than adequate.
So if we said up to 10,000, that would cover it. Okay. Councillor Park, you made that motion, so you want to add that as a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Burridge, as the seconder, you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, Community Development Coordinator, none. Public Works, curling rink furnaces. I know it's not the type of weather when you're thinking about furnaces, but yeah. So they're looking to replace the 2 electric furnaces, the 20-year-old electric furnaces, with natural gas. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes.
Yeah, gas furnaces that are 96% efficient. Well, that's pretty good. I'm not a curler, I'm not familiar with the curling rink. So, would someone care to comment on this?
I mean, not that I'm that familiar with the actual, the furnaces that are in there, but obviously it speaks for itself. It's 20 years old, and of course we're using gas tax money, which is a good thing as well. We need to
Yeah.
use that up too, so.
So the recommendation has a dollar amount in it, but then the financial impacts has that same dollar amount and approximately $500 for some electrical work.
Right.
So it's actually $112 or $12,000, approximately.
10,220.
Yeah, okay. Your math is better than mine. I've been out of school too
But
long.
I'm assuming that, sorry to speak out of turn, Mayor?
Yes?
So I'm assuming that would be out of the gas tax money as well, the $500?
Yes, the entire,
It can be.
Yeah.
And then plus GST.
Which we
we
get
don't
back.
pay.
Oh, okay. It's kind of an in and out.
Gotcha, yep.
Okay, would someone care to make a motion?
I'll make
Sure.
a motion that council award the replacement of the furnaces of the curling rink to Jacob Plumbing of 100 Mile House for $9,720 plus GST.
I'll second it. Are we going to add in there somewhere
I was gonna
the
say
dollar
the
amount for the
$500.
electrical work?
So, but my second question would be, would that be a separate award? Because are they doing the electrical or would it be a different company? So we're awarding this to these guys, so.
No, I think there's some additional electrical work that'll be,
Right.
But it'll be a
it'll be a
separate
separate
contractor.
contractor
Yeah,
that'll
so
be
that's what-
doing it, but the amount can be,
Okay,
the amount of the electrical work will be paid out of gas tax as well. It won't be general revenue.
okay. Any more discussion on that? All in favor? Carried. Would you need a motion for the electrical work, or is that just
No,
part
so
of
just that $500 little thing.
Okay. Fire Department, March report. Councillor Park, would you like to take that?
I did have a meeting this week, so what you see is what you're reading. They did have a call out or two. One is, of course, a field burn off that they had responded to, and of course you see the smoke that's going on the end of town. They're part of that as well. It's not all of them, but it's we had besides their numbers are still up. I've seen another new face, which is good. So it's like they're holding, and they had their elections this week, which they could result in Sherwood County Council here for week. So
So that'll come to the next meeting?
the chief, deputy chief, are the same. Couple changes in the secretary, etc. But other than that, yeah. So just received information.
Good to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, animal control, none. Committees, none. Bylaws and policies, none. Council reports. I do have one thing to add on my report. On April 8th, CAO Daly and I attended this millimeter wave launch virtual meeting with ABC Communications. So they've been invited now to come and present to council at our next council meeting.
Very good.
They did provide a map with the coverage area of where this new millimeter wave launch will cover, and that was posted to Clinton Chatter, and the public was invited to send any questions they have, so we'll have those prior to the meeting.
Perfect.
Other than that, I've been attending a lot of meetings. Any questions? Okay, Councillor Burge?
And unlike the mayor, I have attended no meetings.
That was quick and easy. Okay.
The Easter activities went well on that note. And I am part of now, I don't know how this happened, but when you attend things at 5 in the morning. So, Early Childhood Development Action Network, which is a worldwide network, and the first thing I attended was Nurturing Care During COVID-19, Lessons Learned from 7 Countries. And it's the World Health Organization and a whole bunch of the LEGO Foundation. And it's very, very interesting to be on this worldwide thing and finding the similarities from Clinton that are happening in Zimbabwe. So, yeah. So it's quite interesting.
Sounds like it.
Other than that, the only other thing I've had sort of council-wise is a lot of people, and I don't know if I've got a sign on my back, approaching me about trail work. Like they want different trails for different things. And so I'm just keeping them names down so when we get working or whatever, public input.
Well,
when
I
we
know
get
your
that far.
portfolio is a little light right now, so keep that in mind.
It's a little light, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Burridge? Okay, Councillor McElravy.
I've had nothing either. It's been pretty quiet on my front, other than last Sunday being cancelled for CD Sunday, which was due to the restrictions. That's pretty much all that's going on there.
I was glad to see how they did the virtual.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that.
Yeah,
Definitely, I really enjoyed that.
they did a nice job.
Very well done.
All right. Councillor Park.
Mentioned earlier, I had a fire department meeting this week, of course, of the elections. Also, we had transit yesterday, our quarterly, I guess it would be, meeting, it's every 3 months. And not much on the front there. The Lawrence, our regular driver, he's back. He was off on hiatus for a couple months, and he's back again. So it's nice to see his face again. I'm sure the riders agree. That was someone that they know, and he knows them really well. So one question came up was what do they call it? The surplus reserves, and they had just we talked about it earlier last year, or later than last year, it was mentioned at the council meetings, that they're going to, because Cash Creek just came on board, just to make sure everybody's up to accounting, they're going to ask, they're more not concerned as far as probably Clinton, Ashcroft, but Cash Creek's into the transit system again, that they're making sure everybody actually has whole reserves in their budgets and stuff. So they're going to reach out to the CFO just to make sure that everything's kosher there. That's one thing noted. And it was pretty short this week meeting too, so it's all done by Zoom now too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Do we get a copy of the minutes of those meetings?
We do. So
Okay.
I'm trying to rectify that. We'll try to make sure we get these ones sent off to.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else?
And the museum, they had their elections and it went well. They had a good turnout actually. They did it, of course, a different way. And of course, for the COVID, they actually had to go. It was obviously more onerous on everybody because they had to walk around with people involved. So hats off to them. They had to go door to door, face to face, hand out election sheets, and go and collect them again afterwards. So it was all done by ballot. And so they had, I guess, a really good turnout as far as people that were voting. So it was a filled positions again. And there's some turnovers and some good, looks like a good group on it. And then so we have another meeting tomorrow, I believe. So hopefully we'll get the minutes showing up on our agendas as well. Start getting that.
Good.
So let's see that.
Thank you.
And other than that, that's it.
Okay, any questions for Councillor Park? Okay, Councillor Rivet.
I just had a few meetings. I'll probably try to summarize some of the stuff in Interior Health Roundtable. I'm just trying to figure out what I can and can't share. And it's right now Interior Health, I think, has so much on their plate, and they're really in turmoil, and even staff-wise. So anyway, hopefully I'll have something for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Could we receive those for information, please? New business, none. Current list of motions, outstanding council previous action items. In progress, completed, and in progress. So if you have any questions on any of those, you can ask CAO Daily, because I don't have the answers.
We're in progress.
As long as it's in progress, that's important. Receive for information. Calendar of events. The income tax preparation by volunteers until April 30th. Receive that for information. We have no in-camera. So that brings us to Councillor Burridge.
I move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.